Hi, everybody. Welcome to an impromptu live stream. I hope your day is going well. For me, it's not the best day. Someone hacked my Facebook account, which means I can't get into my Epic Marvel Podcast Facebook page or the group. So I'm going to have to figure out how to resolve that. But in the meantime, I have a couple of boxes that I want to open up with you, and we'll see what kind of goodness we have inside here. These are Epic collections, of course. And why don't we just get right to it? Because I think this might be a long live stream, or longer than usual, because there are more books than usual to talk about. Okay, first one on our list here. Star Wars Legends Epic Collection, Volume 8. Let's see here. These Star Wars collections are always pretty cool. I've been reading a lot of the Star Wars stuff through Epics, and they're a lot of fun. This one collects a whole bunch of different stuff. Let's see. Star Wars Empire 5 to 6, 8 to 13, and 15. And Star Wars X-Wing Rogue Squadron half issue. Star Wars A New Hope Special Edition 1 to 4. And Star Wars Tag and Bink are Dead number 1, and material from Star Wars Tales 1, 6, 8, 9, 10, 12, 14, 16, and 19. That is a lot of different issues, all covering the period leading up to A New Hope. And a lot of these, when we were talking to Mike Hansen on the 10th anniversary YouTube live stream that I did a few weeks ago, he was saying that when he was creating the maps for all of these epic collections, he really wanted to make sure that different eras ended at the different movie points. So this is the period, this is the Empire period leading up to A New Hope. And so the Dark Horse adaptation of A New Hope is the final story in this epic collection. And that signifies that this is the very last volume of the Empire Legends line. So that's pretty cool. Let's take a look inside and see what we can see here. Thanks for your comment, Krypton Ken. I don't think there's anything you can really do. I don't think there's anybody except Facebook can do to help me get back into my Facebook account. So we'll have to just see if they come through for me. Let's see. We'll list off some of the artists here. A bunch of names I don't know. Rick Leonardi, I know that one. John McCrea, Martin Egland. There's a lot of creators here, and I know a lot more of the writers. Ron Mars, Paul Chadwick, he's the guy that did Concrete. Garth Ennis, Bruce Jones, Michael Stackpole, he does a lot of Star Wars. Mike Barr, same with Mike Barr. C.B. Cebulski, I think you know that guy from Marvel Comics now. Peter David has some stories in here. Mark Evanier, that's pretty cool. A lot of great creators, and a lot of great artists too. But I'm just not familiar with their names to be able to pull them out of a hat. But the artwork does look really nice. There's a really nice Vader. So I guess if this is leading up to A New Hope, this would be around the same time as Rogue One, except, you know, different timelines now that that's canon and this isn't. But I saw Bib Fortuna for some X-Wing fighters. That's a cool shot right there. Nice double page spread with some gutter loss, but that's okay. Yeah, I think this will be fun. Oh yeah, here's the New Hope adaptation. There's another double page spread. That's pretty cool. I had no idea Paul Chadwick wrote some, and Sergio Aragonis drew some. Yeah, Sergio did a parody comic called Sergio Stomp Star Wars, and that's coming up, I think, in an epic collection soon. I think maybe the New Republic epic collection or something. There's a nice I guess that's a sketch cover maybe or something with 3PO on it. Has Marvel republished any of the Star Wars manga adaptations? I remember Kia Asamiya did some good ones. I think that person did the Phantom Menace adaptation. Is that right? They haven't done all of those, and from what I understand, there is some licensing issues with that one. The original art or something like that is owned by the whatever manga company put it out, and so I guess Marvel doesn't have that content. They'd have to work out a deal with that company. So it's not going to be in the Epic collections as far as I know, which is too bad because I would love it. I'd love to see it in the Epic collections. I actually think it's on Marvel Unlimited, so there's something going on there. They must have some sort of rights. It must just not be print rights or something like that. Anyway, let's see. How do I know if I can like Star Wars? He's never read Star Wars. Well, watch a movie. If you like the movies, then I'm sure there's a lot of comics that you'll like because they've been published for 30 years, longer. They've been published for 40 years, and so there's got to be something in there that you would like. The Star Wars ones I really wish they'd reprint are the original Marvel Years lines. Yeah, that would be really cool to see them come back because that was the classic stuff. Let's see here. We have who's on the spine? It's Luke. Luke is on the spine. Okay, open up this other box here. So this box is heavy. There's a lot more stuff in this one. Packed to the brim. Let's see what we have here. We've got a new printing of Maximum Carnage, volume 25 of the Epic Collections. This one, it's always popular. It's sold out pretty quick, and then it was reprinted in almost like all of it. The entire series is reprinted in Carnage Volume 1, and it'll also show up in Venom Volume 3. And people just love this. And so it's coming again and again and again. So there you go. It's one of these titles that'll always be in print. It's just one of the most popular Spider-Man titles, and it established Carnage as the villain he is, and has influenced many countless Spider-Man crossover stories ever since. There you go. Wait, wasn't Maximum Carnage reprinted earlier this year? I remember Omar doing an overview of it. Did that new printing sell out that fast? Yeah, let's see here. Let's see what it says. This is second edition, second printing. This is another printing of Maximum Carnage. You're right. It did come out earlier this year, and it must have sold out because they are already bringing it back. And this one was not solicited because it's a second printing, not a new edition. It's just a new printing, so they don't need to re-solicit it. But it is coming back for all of you who missed it before. There you go. Normally, is there any difference with the reprints, or are they all exactly the same? That's a great question. It really depends on the volume. If there were issues with the other volume, then Marvel does do what they can do to correct the issues. But otherwise, usually they're pretty much the same. So the X-Men reprints that came out recently, like Fate of the Phoenix and Proteus, those ones have some thicker paper because people were not satisfied with the thin quality of the paper before. Some of them have some binding issues, and so those ones, the next printings are better. Some of them had some bad quality scans where you'd find like some weird dot patterns going on in the backgrounds, and Marvel corrected that in, what was the one that came out recently? Was it Assassination? I can't remember, but so it depends on the volume. This one, there weren't any problems with the original printing of this one, so I don't think that you'll find that this is any different, but there you go. Okay, let's see what else is in here. Iron Man Epic Collection War. What is it? The War of the Supervillains. Let me see here. This is volume 6 in the Epic Collections. There's not Wolverine. There's Iron Man on the spine. And what you can tell from this is that this is the era where Stan Lee made some sort of comments like, why doesn't this guy have a nose? And so the artist started putting noses on Iron Man's mask. And that only lasted for a short little while before they were like, this kind of looks silly. So they took it back. Yeah, I mean, one of the iconic things about Iron Man, of course, is his mask and the way that it makes his face look very different and menacing. There's a classic pose right there for you. This is 1970s Iron Man, mid-70s, 1974 to 1976. This collects Iron Man 68 to 91 plus annual number 3. Most of this is going to be written by Mike Friedrich and drawn by George Tuska. So, classic creators, classic stories, classic villains, and if you love 70s Marvel, then this is going to be right up your alley here. This is something that this is a period of Iron Man. There are so many periods of Iron Man that don't get a lot of love because he's never been like an A-list character up until like the movie came out. So this era of Iron Man is something that hasn't really been widely available unless you went in for the really expensive Masterworks. So there you go. There's you saw the Mandarin. Yeah, this should be good. I wonder who these. I don't know who these guys are. Zodiac, maybe something like that. There's Firebrand. Firebrand is a reoccurring character in Iron Man in this era. So there you go. George Tuska, Carson says, looking forward to that one. Love George Tuska on Iron Man. Yeah, he was a great golden age artist who went through the Silver Age as well. So it's good to have some very nice, solid, experienced artists going through Iron Man at that time. Oh yeah, so cool to see that era of Iron Man collected in something outside of the Marvel Masterworks. Yeah, that's what I was just saying too. Good job. Roy Thomas once said that Tuska was the only artist who could he could put on a book and guaranteed the sales would go up. Yeah, he is solid, definitely. I just need Who Killed Tony Stark reprinted. Yeah, that would be nice. Okay, let's see here. X-Men Epic Collection Legacies. This is a reprint of volume 22 of X-Men. This is X-Men 297 to 300, annual 17 plus X-Men 17 through 23 and the strike files and X-Men Unlimited #1. I love X-Men Unlimited #1 because it has some great art, classic art from Chris Pichello. Not that you can tell from that page here. There you go. So yeah, there's some cool stuff here, and this one takes place right after the Executioner's song. So a lot of the fallout from that is happening in this story here. Hold on, I gotta mute my camera for just a second. Thanks, everybody. Okay, let's see here. This one is, what does it say here in the legal line? Second printing. It's not a new edition. It's just a second printing. So again, didn't have to be solicited. This is what people like to call a stealth reprinting. They're just getting it in there because they don't have to create a new ISBN because it just went from the same printer. So they just had to fire up the machine and print out more copies. They didn't have to spend labor hours to create new files or new plates or whatever. It's just a second printing of the book. So there you go. New edition, not a new edition, second printing of X-Men Legacies coming out. That means that these books will be coming out the first week of November. That's when this will be coming out here. You should be able to order that from your comic book store pretty soon. Okay, one more reprint, and then I have one more new book. Here's a reprint. This is the one that we did know was coming. Avengers West Coast, Lost in Space Time. This is volume 2. This one's been out of print for a while, so a lot of people have been asking for this one. It's been on our reprint poll, and now you can get it back again. There is nothing wrong with this volume, just as there is nothing wrong with this volume either, the original printings. They're just printing more copies. But there you go. You want to see inside this one? I didn't show you inside X-Men very much, but that's okay. So this is a big story with Steve Englehart at the Realm, and Al Milgrom as well, usually on art. And they have to go travel through time. And they get bounced around to some different periods and meet a couple of, like Steve Englehart likes to put in some obscure characters like Texas Twister, I think, and the original Ghost Rider shows up here. Is that him right there? Nope, that's not him. Where did that go? He was called Ghost Rider at the time, but I think by this point he was known as Phantom Rider. There's one obscure member of the West Coast Avengers that isn't around much anymore. Oh, Two Gun Kid. Yep, that's right. There's just they do a big Western. Here, this is the Ghost Rider right there, that guy. I think he's called the Phantom Rider at this point. Okay, you got some questions for me? Let's see. What did I scroll back a little bit here? I really hope we get an X-Men Fatal Attractions epic soon. Yeah, that should be hopefully coming at some point. It's one of those gap. They got the volume before and the volume after, but we don't have that one yet. Do we know if Age of Apocalypse will be collected in the X-Men epics? We don't know. I would like to see that because it's a huge part of the story, and if they're going to include the Legion Quest issues, then they'll definitely need to include the Age of Apocalypse, since that's the whole point of Legion Quest. It would be kind of weird to leave it out, but I don't know. I'm not sure. It would take up 3 volumes of epic collections. The only Avengers West Coast I didn't have. There you go. This is unrelated to this specific epic, but do you know what epic collections use the Masterworks remastered artwork? I know the most recent printing of Fantastic Four Coming of Galactus does. The only 2 that I'm aware of is Coming of Galactus and Mystery of the Black Panther, Volume 4 of Fantastic Four. The others, I don't know. I haven't heard. But those ones for sure. Is there any chance for an Old Man Quill modern era epic collection? That's interesting. It's possible. So far, with they've stuck with only kind of the 616 universe and hadn't strayed into any of like the multiverse stories until they just announced the Spider-Girl epic collection, and that of course takes place on a different Marvel universe. So that one, with that precedent set, sure, maybe we will see Old Man Quill, or maybe they just give us one of those Old Man Logan timeline epic collections and stick that in there too. I'm not sure how they would do that. Okay, last epic collection to talk about here today. This is a new one, Excalibur Epic Collection Volume 9. This one's called You Are Cordially Invited. And I believe they have a pre-order up for X-Men Fatal Attractions. Yes, sorry, I was thinking, what was I thinking? What's the other X crossover? Executioner song? No, Extinction Agenda. I was thinking Extinction Agenda. That's the one that's missing. There's a little bit of a hole. But yes, Fatal Attractions is coming up in 2024. Okay, back to this one. Excalibur, You Are Cordially Invited. This is the very last volume of classic Excalibur when the series was canceled. And you can see there's the back cover. And you can see also there's Brian and Megan on the cover, on the corner box there. This covers Excalibur 116 to 125, X-Men Unlimited 19, X-Men True Friends 1, 2, and 3, and then also the 2001 Excalibur miniseries issues numbers 1 to 4. So there's a lot of content in here. Let's take a look This was the area. This was the era. Let's see. It's 1998 to 2001, and this was the era that Ben Raab was writing. And there you go. Colossus was on the team at the time, and so was Shadowcat and Nightcrawler. There's Nightcrawler right there. They're in outer space. I'm going to party with Namor for a little bit there. I've read like the odd issue in this era of Excalibur, but not a whole lot. Nightmare shows up here. But I haven't even, yeah, look, there's, that's kind of cool, all those skeletons on there. Some of the artists involved include Mel Ruby, Jim Calafiore, Trevor Scott, Dale Eaglesham, who was on Fantastic Four, and the Hickman. No, what am I saying? Yeah, Hickman, Jonathan Hickman. That's the same guy, right? Dale Eaglesham. Rick Leonardi, there's his name again. He was in the Star Wars epic. And then I think Chris Claremont does that newer miniseries, but let's have a look. Who remembers this character from the 90s? Marrow. There you go. Classic X-Men, executed by the X-Men. Looks like they're going to travel back through time. Okay, let's go ahead to the... What is this one called? X-Men True Friends. Here's the X-Men True Friends series by Chris Claremont and Rick Leonardi and Al Williamson on inks. Ah, what a good team that is. Al Williamson and Jimmy Palmiotti on inks. That'd be really cool. I think that looks pretty awesome. And then the new Excalibur series, again by Ben Raab as well. And let's see here, art from Pablo Raimondi. Don't know that name, but he looks pretty cool. That's a lot of characters on one page. Black Knight features in this one as well. There you go. Okay. That's I'm gonna have to read this one to it looks really, really good. Okay, some questions here. What is Excalibur about? Have not read it. Well, in general, Excalibur is a spin-off of an X book, although it doesn't really. Sometimes they cross over with X-Men, but they kind of do their own thing, base themselves out of Britain. Of course, starring Captain Britain himself. When it started with Chris Claremont, it was kind of a little bit more of a fun title. It had some silliness, and then it kind of became more of a standard book. But by this time, they had introduced they had introduced Colossus and Nightcrawler in the team to try and boost some sales, but I don't think it happened because the book still got canceled. In this one, I don't really know what to say about this volume in particular because I haven't read the content, but as you can tell, it's going to be a wedding. That's how the series ends. I think we're missing the Ellis Excalibur run in Epics, but they'll be in the third omnibus. That's kind of cool. Yeah, we were wondering if they would kind of dance around this, given that there's some controversy with Warren Ellis as a person. So if they're going to put that in the omnis, then that's great, because that means we will definitely get the Epic collections at some point. Probably it'll be after the selling period is over for that there. What's the cover price? Okay, yeah, let's go through the cover prices of all of these epics that we just talked about here. I can't believe there's 6 of them. Star Wars cover price is $45. Excalibur is $50. These are all US prices, the US cover price. Avengers reprint is $45. X-Men reprint is $45. Iron Man Volume 6 is $45. and Maximum Carnage is 40, has a smaller page count. There you go. That's your list of, that's your look at Epic Collections there. Didn't Marvel Multiverse technically begin in the Excalibur title, and the main universe being designated 616? I think so, because we have the Captain Britain Corps, and that is one Captain Britain is in charge of each of the Earths in the multiverse, and so yeah, I think that is where it started. I think it was Alan Moore that designated the main universe as 616 before Excalibur existed. Could be. I'm not familiar with that. You should probably, somebody should look that up and confirm that, because that's kind of cool. Oh, if you need a recap in case you missed it, we have Star Wars The Empire Volume 8, collecting all of the stuff leading up to A New Hope, and this one has the 4-part A New Hope adaptation in here. This is the final volume of The Empire. After this, I think there's only 3 more Dark Horse epics to come out. The Menace Revealed, and A Rebellion, and A New Republic. I think those are the last 3. Then we have Excalibur, Volume 9, the last classic era Excalibur, unless they do some stuff that happens in the early 2000s, but that's probably more of a modern era epic collection kind of a thing. Where's the other new one? Iron Man Volume 6, collecting 1970s Iron Man stories from Mike Friedrich and George Tuska. Sorry, everybody. The 616 started in Captain Britain comics, not Excalibur. 616 came from Alan Moore's Captain Britain. There you go. How can we tell when an epic is about to go out of print? I usually just go by Amazon showing me a low stock warning, but I would like to know if there's an easier way to tell. There is not an easier way to tell. When majority of the stock used to be held by Diamond, we could go by their numbers because they would give retailers low stock warnings. But now that it's divvied up among a bunch of different places, and Diamond actually doesn't have the bulk of the stock, it's really hard to say when stuff is going out of stock. We don't really know. So go by Amazon. I mean, that's kind of your best bet at this point. I think there is some New Republic era stories that still need to be collected in epic format. I think there's a story called Invasion, and that hasn't been collected yet. The next New Republic volume should be coming out, I think, in 2024, hopefully. Okay, and in case you missed it as well, we have the Avengers West Coast Epic Collection Volume 2. We knew about this reprint. It's coming out soon. And then we had these 2 surprise reprints that didn't need new solicitations because they are strictly new printings, not new editions: Maximum Carnage and X-Men Legacies. So if you didn't catch those ones, then there you go. All of these books will be coming out at the beginning of November. Or sorry, we're at the end of November. Beginning of December, I guess, actually, is when these ones will be coming out. So there you go. Is Silk getting a modern epic? There's nothing has been announced for Silk yet, but I guess we'll find out. She would probably, does she even have enough material for an epic? I'm not sure. Oh yeah, I already did that comment there. Okay, well, that's it. That's it for this live stream. I hope everybody had a good time watching, and I will not see you around the Facebook group until I can get this problem with Facebook resolved. If I cannot get into my hacked account, then I'll just have to create a new account, I guess. But then I don't know what that means for my Epic Marvel podcast page. How does one gain control of a page that already exists? I don't really know. Okay, I'd love to see original printing of Marvel, Star Wars Marvels. Yes, that would be great. A new printing of those ones. Hope we get Power Man Epic Volume 1 reprint now that Volume 2 is coming. I didn't know that one was out of stock. That's too bad. Yeah, it would be nice to be able to have both of those available at the same time. Okay, everybody, I'm logging off. Thanks for chatting with me today, and I hope to see you all soon. See you later.